And we are wrestling with WWE Royal Rumble. Took place last Saturday in Indianapolis, Indiana, um, at the George Lucas Oil Stadium. Attendance was 70,347. Um, what is the capacity for um, this arena?
Lucas Oil.
Yeah.
One. Uh,
Um,
what did I say? Probably a little bit less than that. I mean,
Seventy
depending on
thousand.
this,
It's 70,000.
depending on, yeah, because I'm like, a football game, it's probably less than that.
Yeah. Um, but it was what it was supposed to be. So, I mean, obviously it was a sellout. So, um, a little less than we're used to for matches, but obviously they were important matches, excluding the tag team championship match. Um,
That was important. How dare you?
I didn't say boring. I said important.
I said it was important. I said, how dare you?
I thought that this was a good Royal Rumble. Um, it had moments. It did what it kind of was supposed to. We have obviously a clear vision of, a clear oral vision of what's going to happen for WrestleMania. But what say you? What did you think of the show overall?
Um, the show overall was good. You remember last week when we were talking about, oh my God, the women's Royal Rumble was better than the men's and so on and so forth. It felt like they did the inverse.
Yes,
Just-
I agree.
but I will say this though, that Royal Rumble was probably the best Royal Rumble I've seen for the men's ever.
It's definitely been a hot minute since there's been a very memorable Royal Rumble for the men's side of things. Uh, yeah. So, um, I don't want to say the best ever for sure, but it definitely did what it was supposed to. Like, I
Oh
mean,
no, 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 no. It was the best ever. Well, we'll get into it. We'll fuck it. Let's just get into it. We might as well just start there, right? Just go.
let
Fuck it. We're not gonna.
let's do it in order. We don't want to. Let's.
You start top down. You can start top down.
But then we're ending with probably the worst match, the women's Royal Rumble.
Well, it was the most predictable Royal Rumble.
I mean, it wasn't a bad Royal Rumble on the women's side. It's
I never said yeah, it wasn't bad.
yeah. The Dirty Women Royal Rumble match, Charlotte Flair won by last eliminating Roxanne Perez. It went an hour, 10 minutes, and 20 seconds. Participants being Io Sky, Liv Morgan, Roxanne Perez, Lara Valkyria, Chelsea Green, B-Fab, Ivy Nile, Zoe Starks, Last Legend, Bianca Belair, Shayna Baszler, Bayley, Sonya Deville, Maxine Dupree, no, Naomi, Jada Parker, Piper Niven, Natalia, Jordan Grace, Michigan, Alexa Bliss, Zelina Vega, Candice LeRae, Stephanie Vacker, Trish Stratus, uh, Rachel Rodriguez, Charlotte Flair, Julia, Nia Jax, and Nikki Bella. Um, Funny how everybody had some type of association. Obviously, Trish Stratus was a Hall of Fame surprise. Every year they have a legend in there. But it's funny, like just maybe like what 3 years ago, we were we started this relationship with TNA because they didn't have women to be in this Royal Rumble. No?
Yeah, now they ain't got that many to put in. Uh, it was fun. It was very. I mean, the bakery got all of it. And Jada, boy, Jada wasn't married. And the core and Julia, man, it was just like, well, let me get my perverted mind out of this. Anyways, um, it was a stack. I mean, from a name perspective, it was stacked. From a, I will say this, was it a memorable Royal Rumble? No. And it was a great Royal Rumble for the younger talent because I think this is the first time where the younger talent got to really shine. One in Roxanne Perez. That means that for her to be the Iron Woman, that kind of tells you what they think of her.
After
And
Wres-
consider she's only what, 23?
After
I mean, Roxanne,
WrestleMania, her ass is going to the main roster. I mean, it's just a
oh
matter of
yeah,
time.
no shit. And then I, to me, Roxanne Perez to me is kind of what Paige should have been, if that makes sense.
Paige without bad habits?
Paige without a tape and bad
Without it.
habits.
Fair enough.
But what I'm saying, I mean, and the injury. Let me scratch that without the injury, because I think the sky's the limit for that girl. And but it was great moments. There was the one moment where they had what was it, Jordan Grace and Naomi hugging, and Bianca's like, "What the fuck is it?"
Yes.
That was dope. The moment when they had Jada, Lash, Naomi, Bianca, it was like Black Women's Month up in that bitch, and then Chelsea Green tried to go into the cookout, and they were like not having it. Did not know Lash Legend was that tall, and I did not know she was a WNBA player. I was like, oh shit.
I mean, that makes sense.
I was like, well, she's tall. And I was like, well, you had to be in the league. But anyways, but all in all, I mean, the person that we thought was going to win won the bitch because it was kind of like no clear front runner. And I think that's what kind of killed it in a sense, because there was no suspense.
I get that. Yeah. I mean, the only other person that people uh, maybe felt like had a shot at it was Bailey, I would say. Would I be wrong in that? Or maybe Naya? I don't feel like they would have gave it to Naya.
I was thinking Liv because she was the runner-up 202 years in a row.
Yeah.
I was thinking Liv, Charlotte, Bailey. Nia was a push because of the whole we don't know was she's at Raw and is she ever going to get back with Tiffy time, try to get her revenge, and it's just too many there. But there was no clear cut. I mean, honestly, there is no clear cut picture for the women's when it came to Mania, and it was Charlotte winning, and Charlotte doing the thing that she did fucking 5 years ago. Oh, I'm gonna go to all the fucking um um brands, which makes sense to her because she gains nothing beating Tiffany. She gains nothing beating Rhea.
Does she really gain anything by winning the NXT Championship again?
I think Julia would gain more with that than anything. Tiffany would gain with Char. I think Charlotte's win is a better way to showcase the younger talent. And Rhea teasing as a triple, was it a trilogy? But the problem is that they tried to push Charlotte as this. I'm happy to be back and please cheer for me because I was going through some shit and the crowd was not fucking having it at all. And the reason they weren't having it at all because they kind of knew she was gonna win the moment her ass announced it. So that's where it kind of, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's where that comes in. So, like I think we were talking offline, you said the internet was mad. Yeah, the internet was mad on all the winners. They all, but then again, I don't really deal with the internet because they always got something to complain about.
Correct.
We're fickle. We are fickle.
That
Well, I'm not fickle, but I'm not fickle,
give
but
me a
a
time when
lot of people are fickle.
give me a time when the internet wasn't pissed off at what happened.
Yeah,
Um, when they were actually happy that somebody won or did something. Like literally when a title changes hands, the first post you see is, okay, who's gonna beat this person for this championship? Like he just won it 10 minutes ago. Like really?
yeah. So, I mean, to me, my question was when they were like, well, not even for Charlotte, but for Jay too. I mean, I, no, put Jay aside. We'll get to that. Well, who was the right choice to win other than Charlotte?
I would I would likely say people would have wanted Alexa Bliss to win. If there was any if there was no other option, Lexi got the biggest pop of the night, and that's men or women.
Alexa Bliss?
Yeah.
But you're gonna, I mean, I can't, I can see their point because Charlotte's first match coming back in the Rumble, she won the bitch. Um, so I can see the argument in that. The The only other argument I have against it is that Charlotte is the gatekeeper for the women's division, whether most people like it or not.
Yes.
She's the fucking bar, and you can make the argument she is Miss WrestleMania more than Sasha Banks.
100%.
So why wouldn't you put her in a match, win, lose, or draw against any of those people? Because here's the thing people are going to want to watch her get her ass kicked. That's the value.
Right.
And that's where people kind of get lost in the sauce. Even with Rhea coming back and was begging, oh, but and Rhea told her, I'm not that same person, and you still disrespect me, even though I gave you the respect. But going back to the Rumble, uh, Charlotte won. It was the right call that I seen because there was no clear cut. So to
Right.
me, people bitching, it is what it is.
I agree. Um, I think there was. I think this was a solid Royal Rumble. Obviously they didn't have the star power that they've had in the years past, but we got to see, and good call on you, Jada Parker and Last Legend. I did not see them being in there, but you called that last week, and obviously Julia and Stephanie, yeah, they definitely deserve to be in there as well. Um, and obviously Alexa Bliss being coming back was the biggest moment of the Rumble. Funny
Of
how
the Rumble, yeah.
Funny how Nikki Bella was number 30 and there were crickets. Literally crickets. Like, I think people got their expectations high that AJ Lee was going to be a part of this,
That's another part.
but I feel like I'm not gonna believe AJ Lee is gonna be there unless AJ Lee actually shows up at this point. Maybe they were disappointed on that. Maybe they were just disappointed to see Nikki Bella. Generally speaking, um, I don't even know why Nikki Bella was there. Maybe she needs money for a lawyer because Hardyverse right now. Um, but yeah,
True. I mean, that could be the case, but I think it was just a one-off. And the reason that it didn't go well is because even though it wasn't a star-studded WrestleMania, you could make the argument this is the best wrestling talent women's WrestleMania, right? Like there was every name was a legit athlete slash wrestler. You think of, even with Trish, you think of Trish as a diva, but she morphed herself into a wrestler. Um, and it was like I just told you, she was a diva in a wrestling match.
I can't remember. Did you say that on air or was that while we were talking off air?
I have no idea, but it was like 29 versus 1 when that bitch had came out because, or it might as well have been 29 versus 1 because Nia Jax is more of a wrestler and she is probably the most hated wrestler, but she is nonetheless considered a wrestler and an athlete more so than Nikki Bella. No shade to Nikki, but
All say to Nikki.
I mean, yeah, because think about it. Who's better, Nikki Bella, Roxanne Perez?
Roxanne Perez. And I don't even like
Who's
Roxanne
better?
Perez.
I mean, I like Roxanne Perez.
Low key, I
Uh,
feel she's overrated.
Nikki Bella ain't, I mean, I'm not even putting Julia and them in this. Jada Parker. Nikki Bella, Jada Parker.
Ooh, now you're towing the line.
I'm just saying. Nikki Bella, Jada Parker.
Yeah. Maybe Nikki Bella.
Oh, you man, you tripping. Anyways, Nikki Bella, Lash Legend.
Nikki Bella. I still haven't forgive.
See,
I have not forgiven Last
see.
Legend since for those horrible skits she did at the beginning of NXT 2.0.
Oh, oh God, man, just let it go. Anywho, but my point is that it was a women's wrestling match, and that diva showed up, and everybody's like, "What the fuck is she doing here?"
Right.
And I mean personally, I think she was just a name. Like I said, it what it lacked in name power, it made up for in talent and new generation shining.
I agree. Alright, how many stars do you give the Women's Royal Rumble?
Personally, 3.5 because I like the fact that the new talent showed. What killed me was that we knew Charlotte was winning. I, that's what killed it for me personally.
I agree. I give it a solid B. Well, 3. A solid 3 stars. There you go.
Oh man, and that means we got another episode of Guess That Rating. I know we need for that shit.
What did I do here? Um,
So let's guess it. What did Uncle Daddy Meltzer
there you go.
give this match?
2.5.
Higher.
2 7/5.
Oh gosh, that quarter shit gonna kill you. It's higher.
3.
3.5.
3.5. Really
Yeah, I thought. I mean, me and Uncle Dave were on the same wavelength, at least on that one.
interesting. All right. Now we got a 2 out of 3 falls match for the WWE Tag Team Championships. DIY Johnny Gargano and Tomato Ciampa defeated Motor City Machine Guns Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin in 14 minutes. Not gonna lie, this was the P break match for me. What I did see was okay. Didn't necessarily have a problem with it. But I think the highlight of the match for me was, you know, for Street Profits, getting that smoke at the end of the match. Not necessarily being good guys, kind of being on, the tweener side. So, um, that was my perspective. What say you, Kaliko?
I mean, it was a solid match, and the profits coming in from a storyline perspective made sense because if you've been here, if you've been been there as long as the profits has been, and you see a tag team pop up and just like get the title shot you feel that you deserve, you'll feel some type of way.
Yeah,
And they just decided to take it out on good old Motor City Machine Guns there.
yeah,
So I mean, and it helped Gargano and them make up for the fact that they got killer comboed in Cleveland. So at least they walk out with some kind of dignity in that regard. So I mean, and the right team won because DIY is coming into themselves as the team that could be beat, but they're too busy stirring the pot with everyone else to keep everyone busy on everything except them,
right.
which I have no problem with, I must say.
How many stars you give this one?
Uh, to me, three. It didn't wow me, but it didn't kill me. How about that?
Fair enough. 2.5. Like I said, I didn't see all of it, so I can't judge. Maybe the first fall. But like I said, what I saw, I didn't mind. It didn't wow me. It wasn't. It was a good filler match for what it needed to be. Between the Royal Rumble match and the ladder match.
Essentially, you took a 30-minute pee break, is what you're trying to say.
The match was only 14 minutes. Maybe seven of those was in the bathroom, but I digress.
Hey, man, hey, at least you could have been like, getting a drink or something.
Well, I did get a. I needed to replenish afterwards.
Oh, gosh.
um, Uncle Dave gave this 3.5,
Uncle Dave, what? Lower,
2.5,
higher,
2 7/5.
3.25.
3.25. Huh. Okay.
I
Now,
mean, maybe because they gave it maybe the solid three was because the Motor City Machine Guns used to the Bucks. I don't know.
I mean, maybe that brings us to the undisputed WWE Championship a ladder match. Cody Rhodes defeated Kevin Owens in 25 minutes and 5 seconds. You know, it's hard to do anything new in a ladder match or, get the crowd going or have an interesting match when it comes to ladder matches, considering we've seen everything. But I really feel like this was really well done. It wasn't, 25 minutes of high spots and flip floppy shit. You know, they paced themselves. They had the big moments when they mattered. What they did do to each other looked gnarly as hell. Like, it seemed like they were really trying to hurt each other. Which, you know, that's what you're supposed to do in a wrestling match.
Mm-hmm.
That I think we're forever going to see those pictures of Cody Rhodes on the table over Kevin Owens like dead corpse. But I think that if I'm being completely honest, I think this was Cody Rhodes' best title defense to date, and I think it was his most memorable match that he's had as well. What say you?
This was his best, most violent. How can I put it? You remember when I, to me Cody was like, you remember when the Street Profits used to be not get taken seriously, and then when the Street Profits started whooping motherfuckers in the parking lot, you were like, oh shit.
Yeah,
This was his oh shit. Like this was his oh shit. There is that side. There is a because it always seemed like Cody was trying to be quite honest, he was Sami Zayn with the belt, trying to take the high road with shit.
hmm, okay,
And this was just one of them nights where he was just like, fuck it, you want to take it there, we'll take it there. Because the look in his face, even because uh, it made him look like a champion that was seeing red. Because the blatant disregard when he threw the Alabama Slammer and got the title, and the fact that he decided to jump on the table and raise them belts in front of Kevin Owens' dead carcass was like something that you usually don't see from him.
right,
Right, like he usually would just win the match, do his little celebration in the ring, and then go about his business. He made it a point to go right. I ain't even gonna lie to you. When I saw like the scene with like Kevin Owens laying on the ground and Sammy looking up at Cody, it looked like Rocky Four. It literally reminded me of Rocky Four. Like fucking Apollo Creed just knocked out and just, you know what I'm saying? It just looked like if he dies type shit. Like I was like, yo, Cody brought out that College Park, Georgia in him. That's what he went to Bankhead with this one. But and yeah, I mean, I guess that's what made it memorable in the sense that he took it as I'm just gonna do what I need to do to beat his ass. Not. It wasn't his. I'm gonna do what it takes to win the belt for the people. It was like, no, I'm gonna fuck you up,
right.
and it worked. Now the question is, does this start that genesis of heel turn? And that's the real question.
Good question.
And And depending on who he fights, it just might well be.
All right. Well, how many stars do you give this one?
Me personally, I, th- this was probably the best I mean, there's only four matches. This was the best non-wrestling match, the non-Royal Rumble match of the night. So, I mean, 4.5?
One and a half?
Just because I mean, to me,
Do you mean four and a half or one and a half?
4.5.
Four and a half. Okay.
Yeah, four, like 4.5.
Okay.
Like, because of the emotion, the wild card of Sammy and the cost of him not choosing to interfere, but he's paying the price. And he's paying that price in space. And the fact that, yeah, it was a very violent ladder match.
It was.
There was some spots I was like, oh shit. like, like there was some spots like, bro, you dead. Like, Jesus Christ.
I mean, you're not wrong.
It's like, y'all trying to go to Kaiser tonight. That,
Um, yeah. I think this is deserving of four and a half. It was a good, memorable Royal Rumble non Royal Rumble match. Um, we don't get it every year, but yeah, I definitely think that this was a solid, great match that ended a really good rivalry. All right, Uncle Dave,
Uncle Dave.
4.25.
Ooh, so close. Fire.
4.5.
4.5.
Okay.
I told you, hey, we on this wavelength.
Uncle Dave, Uncle Dave was generous with the stars on this one.
I mean, it was four matches. He can't like bullshit his way through
He could absolutely bullshit his way through, and you know that.
to a he can bullshit his way through a four match card.
All right, and that uh, brings us to the Dirty Man Royal Rumble match. Um, the winner was a one Jey Uso yeet by last eliminating John Cena in 1 hour, 20 minutes, and 15 seconds. The participants in order are Rey Mysterio, Penta, Chad Gable, Carmelo Hayes, Santos Escobar, Otis, Braun Breaker, ISO Speed, Sheamus, Jimmy Uso, Andrade, Jacob Fuck You, Ludwig Kaiser Permanente Roll, The Miz, Joe Hendry, Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor, Shinsuke Nakamura, Jey Uso, AJ Styles, Braun Strowman, John Cena, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Dirty Dominic Mysterio, Sami Zayn, Damian Priest, LA Knight, and Logan Paul. Um, I feel like this was a tale of two Royal Rumbles.
Royal Rumbles, exactly. We're on the same page because it
All
was like the first 15, and then there
yes,
was the second 15.
it was like, okay, let's get the lemmings out first. No disrespect to Joe Hendry.
Yeah,
Um,
no disrespect, but we just gonna have to get y'all out the way. It was like the first 15, like, okay, we gonna give y'all spots, but we need to get y'all out the way because
yeah,
we got these goddamn hair. Because the interest is from 16 and up, I could say I was like, oh shit, oh shit. oh shit, it literally had me going, oh shit, because
Right.
it was just the timing of them coming out.
And I
It
mean,
was just,
this was maybe the most star-studded Royal Rumble that we've had in recent memory. I mean, from 16 up, Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor, Shinsuke Nakamura, all world champions. Jey Uso, the hottest wrestler that we have right now. AJ
yep,
Styles, the phenomenal
Styles,
one. Braun Strowman,
Strowman,
you know, not a big fan
world
of Braun
champion,
Strowman, but world
but
champion.
world champion,
He was there to serve a purpose, which I understand. John Cena,
John Cena.
John Cena, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, two of, you know, the biggest wrestlers we have right now. Dirty Dom, the most hated man we have right now. Uh, Sami Zayn, Damian Priest, LA Knight, Logan Paul. Like, this is literally, everybody that is selling
It, it
T-shirts
was
except Logan Paul.
it was it was murderer's row. If you had told me 10 years ago that there'd be a Royal Rumble with CM Punk, John Cena, Seth Rollins, CM Punk,
You said CM Punk twice.
I, no, oh, did I?
Yes.
Jesus. Well, never mind. Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, John Cena, Jey Uso, who's the most popular person in the company, and AJ Styles. I'd be like, you're smoking crack.
If you would have told me that we would see Penta El Zero Miro and Shinsuke Nakamura in the same match, I would have said you've 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 hit the weed a little too hard.
I mean, it was. I mean, I'm glad. I'm glad. See, this is why we fucks with each other because we thought the same way. I was. It was like a dude. I'm telling you, I was sitting because fun fact, I didn't even watch it live. I waited till the next day to watch it on delay just for to get I tuned myself out for social media and everything,
I
and I
mean,
was watching it,
kudos
and
to
I'm
you
sitting here.
because it's incredibly hard to not see who won on social media, and that's day of, let alone the next day.
But when I saw, because it was like Roman came out, I was like, oh shit. And then the next name was Drew. I was like, oh shit. I just found myself saying, oh shit, because it was like, oh, Drew's been waiting on this for a fucking minute. like
Right.
he, he been waiting to get that ass for a hot second, right?
I mean, Drew even said that he's been waiting for this moment.
He he walked up to him like it was a like he saw him at the bar. He's like, bitch, I've been waiting to whoop your ass for and then Roman's just sitting there like, oh man, bring it. Like, bitch, bring it. And then who was it? Then they get their fighting on. AJ comes back with his old theme music. Thank you, fucking Jesus, for giving him back his old theme.
I low-key did not think AJ Styles was going to return so soon. From what I heard, he like shattered his ankle, so I was thinking we wasn't going to see him till after WrestleMania. So it was like legitimately a surprise to me that
It
he
was.
did so well.
It was. And then it's funny because he pops in, does his thing. John Cena pops up. Everybody's like, oh, no, no. Jey Uso pops in there. Everybody's like, oh, shit. He's doing the thing. And then John Cena pops in there. Everybody's like, and I'm like, oh, shit. And then CM Punk comes out, and I'm like, oh, shit.
And then
And then
Logan
Seth
Paul
Rollins
came
comes
out.
out.
Then Logan
Then
Paul.
Seth Rollins pops out, and I'm like, I'm like, oh man, all these motherfuckers is about them. Everyone that's intertwined with each other at that point is just like within the last 3 years is like even with the history, it's just like and I was like, oh my God. And that was the first time I could just sit there and I was like, I don't know who the fuck is winning this match. Like I just like
Usually, like when
Logan.
you get like a big name like John Cena, like usually like the next name it would be less than. Like we would get like a Ludwig Kaiser or a Miz. Literally, the next name after John Cena is CM Punk.
CM Punk, and that
Then
with
Seth
purpose,
Rollins.
and then was Seth Rollins, and then it was just like, oh my fucking god, and it's just like three people that, I mean, that match, the last 10 people were literally, I think the last 10 people, if any one of those people had a one, I probably wouldn't have been a complaint.
Well, I mean, one of those 10 guys did win, and there was still complaints.
I mean, yeah, yeah, and yeah, and I get it. And I also understand why. And that's where people need to understand. People are just thinking, and this is where people are fickle because everybody's like, well, you know, they wanted John Cena, the part timer, to come back and win when we've been spending 10 years bitching about a part timer coming back.
Right. I mean, literally, just
Like,
last year, The Rock came in and he was less than a part timer and wanted the main event of WrestleMania. And people were bitching, oh, he's taking the main event of WrestleMania. He doesn't deserve it. He didn't earn it. And then literally, John Cena the next year is, yay, John Cena, we want him to win 17 times championships, even though he hasn't been here for a year.
yeah, no, not even a year, 2 years.
Right.
I mean, what his last match before that was
Um,
Solo Sikoa?
yeah, that sounds right.
So, I mean, it's, but I know why they gave it. And I kept telling everybody, I understood because the story is in who's facing Cody, not who's facing Gunther.
Right. Well,
Because everyone is literally gunning for when Punk did not come out for Gunther, that's when I was like, oh, he's coming for the guy he knows. And when they had their little spat, I was like, oh yeah, he's gonna try to go for Cody. And then Seth already has beef with Cody.
I feel like Seth has beef with everybody at this point.
I mean, Seth does have beef. Seth has beef with everybody. Drew has beef with everybody. Uh, Roman is the target from everybody.
Yeah, Roman don't give a shit.
Punk,
He has no beef with anybody.
Punk is hated by everybody. Sammy is trying to please everybody.
There's more.
And
There's more beef than Seth Boyardee has.
I mean, but that's where it's at. I kept telling you. I told you last week. The story is in all of those people have a legit claim of a legit reason to want to face Cody.
Right.
The only person who's the odd man out is maybe Drew, and
I disagree with that.
you.
Be
No, no, I said maybe. I said
Yeah.
maybe, and the only reason I say maybe is because I mean they kind of tied it in with him a little bit when he came out and hugged him. So I mean I get it.
I mean, fun fact: Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes has not defeated Drew McIntyre, and Drew McIntyre has a single W on Cody Rhodes from last year. That is a
True.
fact.
But I mean, but there's an angle and there's a reason why everybody's trying to gun for Cody, and it's great. And right now, that is heading into the Elimination Chamber, which is heading into the qualification matches. And I'm telling you right now, some of these hoes already got consequences in them. Um, Not to mention the simple fact we ain't even brought up the fact that Seth curb stomped Roman,
Oh
which
yeah,
to me screams Seth Roman Mania to finish it off because we never got the finish between them two one on one from what happened with the Shield.
very true. Um, but from what I'm hearing, if you believe rumor and innuendo, CM Punk is going to be a part of that match, and it's going to be Roman, Rollins, and Punk at Mania. Low-key, I don't necessarily like that idea. Um,
I wouldn't think it would. I don't think so. Me personally, well, my thing is that Cena and Punk in the Elimination Chamber is going to be a fucking crazy thing, and I think Punk is going to use his Paul Heyman favor to get Heyman to get him in the main event.
well, I mean, yeah, there's definitely a favor on the table.
On the docket,
Yeah,
there's a favor on the docket, and this is where Cena gets in and gets because here's the thing. Cody, if Cody faces Cena at Mania one on one, it's not gonna be a good night for Cody. And not in the sense of wrestling, just in the sense of the optics of John Cena going it. It's kind of like Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. Everyone was on Mike Tyson's side as far as the crowd perception.
I would have used the analogy of Hulk Hogan versus The Rock, but I digress.
Fuck no, I'm not using Hulk Hogan. Fuck Hulk Hogan. Anyways, um,
But I mean, it was a better wrestling analogy, I'd say.
but what I'm saying, nah, because Hulk Hogan, The Rock, it was more. I can't believe it happened, but I use that analogy for Mike Tyson and Logan Paul because everybody in that building was there to see Mike Tyson try to get that one last hurrah, if that makes sense.
He literally showed his ass.
And he literally showed his ass, right? He literally showed his ass. But that's what I'm saying. The nostalgic the nostalgia of wanting to see someone do something one last time in their prime, right? And then you got Cody, who's in his prime as the champion. He's going to get booed out that building. Punk can take the heat from that by inserting himself in that match.
So you're saying it's gonna be Punk, Cody, and Cena in the main event.
Yes, because I could see Cena Cody at SummerSlam one on one.
I mean, we could. I mean, you could even push it until December and let it be his last match.
You could.
Um, yeah. So the thing that I have a problem is with obviously there was that big pull apart Seth Rollins Roman Reigns and Punk was involved. It kind of seems like uh they subtracted Drew McIntyre from the situation because Drew was a part of that shit. And Drew was kind of the catalyst of all of this shit. I don't necessarily need to see Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins again. I mean, they've had their beefs in the past. They've had one on one matches a lot more often. But I really feel like Drew is owed a match against Roman at this point. I mean, it started with Roman. Shouldn't it end it with Roman? And maybe on, obviously the biggest stage that it possibly could be on?
If they didn't have that match at 35, I could see your point.
Um, I don't feel like the WWE takes things like that into account anymore, unfortunately.
I mean, I see. I mean, yeah, but I also see because if that were the case, then why didn't Drew attack Roman,
Right. And
and
that's
why
the
was
problem.
it Seth?
Low key, the Raw, the January 6th Raw. I never said this actually before the show came out. Solo should have won that match between Roman and Solo for the Ula Fala. And the reason Solo should have won is because uh, Drew McIntyre claymored Roman, knocked him out, and put Solo's body on top of him. That should have been how that match should have ended. But I digress. I don't see where a Damian Priest Drew McIntyre match is gonna do anything for either guy at this point. Maybe Logan Paul versus not Logan Paul. LA Knight versus McIntyre is a little bit more interesting at this point. But honestly, who knows? It,
I mean, Damian Priest and Jacob Fatu looked like they was about to get it cracking. Now that
why does it seem like everybody is ready to throw hands?
because that's how it should be. It's WrestleMania season and it's smoke season in the city. It's gonna be some smoke in the motherfucking city. And right now, all the smoke is in the motherfucking city, as my grandma used to say back in the day.
Kind of going back to the Rumble. ISO speed in the Royal Rumble. I've never been a fan of Braun Breaker, but I've never been a bigger fan of Braun Breaker. The way that he destroyed ISO. Um, that was a fun moment, in my opinion.
I didn't even know who the hell that kid was,
Me neither, but I enjoyed
but
seeing him get
that
broken.
I mean, broken wasn't even the word. He was a crash test dummy.
And I mean, it was just a generally a cool moment that Joe Henry was in the Royal Rumble. Obviously, the most rival wrestler in the world today. Low key disappointed that he didn't last longer than 3 minutes and 35 seconds, and that he didn't necessarily get a punch in on John Cena. But I digress. I mean, he got eliminated
I
by Roman
mean,
Reigns, so I mean that's not a bad way to go out either.
it ain't like he still. I mean, John Cena's name after the match, so
I mean, he's been calling his.
obviously he still got some. That's my point.
Yeah.
So popping that name up.
Um, and obviously, the one thing that we didn't really talk about too much was that Jey Uso won. Um, Nobody, like you said before we got on the show, nobody had Jey Uso on their bingo card. And if you did have him on your bingo card, good on you, man. Um,
You a
all
fucking lie. That's what it. You a fucking lie. That's what. Stop capping.
out
'Cause
of all these big names, it kind of shows you, Jey Uso was maybe the least of these big names, but he had the most to gain from actually winning a Royal Rumble. Um, in my opinion, I was at the end of this Rumble, I was pretty sour because it was Jey Uso and John Cena, and people are like, "Yay, John Cena!" The same people that said Cena sucks back in a couple years ago are saying, "Yay, Cena, we love you again." I'm not one of those people. I'm glad he's retiring. I've seen enough of John Cena, and I did not
oh
want to see John
damn.
Cena win another Royal
Yeah.
Rumble, let alone tie Stone Cold fucking Steve Austin for 3 wins apiece. So I was ready to take it off before the match even ended. And then
Holy shit. What did he do to you?
and then I got surprised. They gave me Jey Uso and I popped as loud as I possibly could when Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble. Obviously,
So was everybody else. So was 70,000 other motherfuckers.
yeah, 70,001 because it seems like the internet was not on our side on that. But if you saw Raw on in Cleveland, I mean they literally fucking encored his entrance because people wanted to yeet. So I mean
Well, that
there's
ain't the first time that they've done it.
right. I mean clearly there's a reason that they put him to win this Royal Rumble, and I mean he had the most to benefit from doing so as well. So I'm incredibly happy that Jey Uso won. And like we said, it was a very unexpected win. Nobody had him on your bingo card. And that's why this is going to be known as one of the better Royal Rumbles in recent history. But in your
Yeah.
opinion, what the best Royal Rumble ever?
I mean, to me, it was the best ever. And the reason being is because you had, usually you would know who's winning by the time you get to four. There was 10 people in that match, and I could not tell you who was going to win that motherfucker. Like literally. Like this was the first Royal Rumble on the men's side in which I was literally on the edge of my seat, like, who the fuck is gonna win? Because I couldn't tell you. Like, I think I think that's why I think it was good because I as much as sometimes I don't mind being right, I also like not knowing.
Right.
I love it better when I don't know, and it's just like, oh my God, this person could win because of this. And the hypotheticals that was running through my head. Cause I'm sitting up there like, oh my God, when Punk eliminated Roman and Seth, I was like, oh shit, he's going to win that bitch. And then Logan Paul throws CM Punk over the rope and you're like, what the? Like literally 4 seconds later, Punk gets thrown over the rope by fucking,
Logan Paul.
Logan Paul. You're like, what the? Like my whole mood was fucking pissed. So it was just like, oy, oy, oy. And then John Cena starts eliminating motherfuckers. Then it's him and I'm like, oh my God, Cena's about to win this bitch. And then Jey Uso blew.
Yeah.
So
Um.
I mean, it it worked. It worked. That last half worked to wonders.
How many stars do you give this one?
I told you, five. People can look at me all they want, five. Just because it, it literally was, even though it was one Royal Rumble, it felt like two different Royal Rumbles.
Yeah. The world
It felt
champion.
like two totally separate Royal Rumbles. And I'm here for that.
Yeah. I can't disagree. 5 stars. Never saw it coming. So yeah. Alright. Dave Meltzer. Forgot about that guy.
Hey, Uncle Dave.
He's definitely not giving this a 5 star. 4.5.
4.5. Man, we on the money tonight. Look at you. But then again, we were all on the frequency. We were all on the
The show as a whole, thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle.
same. As a whole, the tag match was a little left to be desired. Even with that, it still was a thumbs up just because that men's Royal Rumble was fucking on it. It was fucking on it.
I'd go back and I'd rewatch this show. Thumbs up.
I mean, I'll just rewatch it just for the fucking Rumble itself.
Oh yeah. Right. That will conclude our coverage of the Royal Rumble in this show as a whole. Thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, both on YouTube and Castbox. This was sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. Join us this Tuesday as we interview Ruslan, and this Wednesday as we interview Victor Tukey. Follow the show at Wrestling with E, both on Xthread and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. Follow me personally at JamesJ993. Where can we find Kaliko?
I mean, I'm Kaliko. I might still be in Cleveland yeeting with everybody playing the Jey Uso song. Because I felt like they just never stopped since SummerSlam.
I mean, there's not a lot more to do in Cleveland. No, except eat dogs.
That pretty much. You're right. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
And that's your political reference of the night. For Kaliko Yachts and Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.
Yeet, yeet, yeet. And more yeet. To yeet or not to yeet? That is thy question. See, we should have just all these goddamn references.
So much to yeet.
Yeet down for what?
Yeet in... Well, we did yeet in the bank already.
I mean, yeet in the bank is never a hole.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.